Hi, I'm Susan Peabody, and it's my privilege to introduce our speakers tonight. First up is Mrs. Melanie Graft. She's driven in with her family from Granbury. And as you probably read the meeting invitation, she's now an activist. She stepped in the middle of something at the Granbury Public Library, I assume, and she's here to tell us about it, to inspire us, inform us. So come on up, Melanie. We're glad you're here. Welcome.
I appreciate you allowing me to come and speak with you. It's an opportunity. A year ago, my 4-year-old daughter and I made one of our regular trips to the local public library in Hood County, Texas. And my daughter reached on top of a new books rounder, and she picked up this book right here. It's entitled This Day in June, and that's the cover. It certainly is very colorful, so you can see why it would easily attract a child's attention. And something I'd like you to take notice of right here, this is the Stonewall Book Award. So you would think book award, but let me define for you what that is. This award is sponsored by the American Library Association Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender Roundtable, and it recognizes exceptional merit relating to GLBT experience in English books published in the U.S. She proceeded to turn to this page right here, and she proceeded to immediately ask me about this right here. Mommy, why are these two men kissing? And I wasn't ready to explain that to a 4-year-old. So I don't believe that a 4-year-old needs to form an opinion on gay marriage. The next slide. Oh, this is another page within the book, and I'm going to pass this book around so you can all take a look at it, and you can see for yourself what's in there. But this is another page that's, in the book, and loving kisses, so delicious. Some of the signs you might not be able to read, but marriage equality. In the back, there's love, not hate. Right here, apparently 2 women just married, 2 men with children. Just not appropriate for a 4-year-old or any children at that matter. This is the back of the book, and this book jacket description says, in a wildly whimsical, validating, and exuberant reflection of the LGBT community, this day in June welcomes readers to experience a pride celebration and share in a day when we are all united. It goes on to end with, this day in June is an excellent tool for teaching respect, acceptance, and understanding of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. This book clearly states on the back, in the upper corner here, that it's for children ages 4 to 8. Another interesting thing to note on the bottom is published by the American Psychological Association. I'm not sure about you, but I'm not interested in the liberal left indoctrinating my children at any age, but especially not the age of 4 to 8. So I expressed my concerns to the librarian, which started a very ugly trail of lies and attacks about what this was really all about. And we asked our local county commissioners and county judge to move the books to a different section of the library so that we, the parents, could exercise the rights that God gave to us to parent and to decide if we wanted to expose our children to this. We lost the battle in a supposedly Republican and very conservative county. So why am I sharing this with you? Because what I originally thought were 3 LGBT children's books in the children's section of our library turned into 11. We now have currently 54. 54 of these books in our library that target children with a reading level of 6th grade and lower. Most of these books, like This Day in June being one of them, are donated to the library for free. It's part of their agenda and it's part of their indoctrination. So who's pushing this agenda? The American Library Association and Texas Library Association. They're 2 very radical organizations. This is a shot from the American Library Association. They have a very intensely liberal agenda to indoctrinate the children of America through books, and they don't hesitate to use militant tactics to shut down free speech when they don't agree with the parent who's objecting to a book. This slide tells us that the Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Roundtable of the American Library Association is committed to serving the information needs of the GLBT professional community and the GLBT information and access needs of individuals at large. We are committed to encouraging and supporting the free and necessary access to all information as reflected by the missions of the ALA. And oops, I don't know if you can see this right here, but this is their recommended rainbow book list. That's a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, queer books for children and teen readers. This is some more of their important priorities and rhetoric, very timely. This is concerning the all-gender restrooms, and you heard the previous speaker talk about what's going on with the Fort Worth ISD. So they're also involved in things of that matter as well. This is our Texas Library Association. It's a 501c3 nonprofit who apparently operates by a different set of rules than others. And as you can read, it clearly explains how to lobby your legislature. They are mini ALA, but they're just as radical. This is another slide from the Texas Library Association, some more of what they put out. This is a discussion of the evolution of gay literary characters. And this is Courtney Kincaid. She's the former Hood County librarian who thought she sensed a pile of burning books and attempted to throw herself upon them. She won an award from the ALA and $5,000 for setting up a system of books that made the indoctrination almost undetectable. You need to know her name because she's the assistant library at the she's the assistant librarian at the North Richland Hills Library. I searched your library's online catalog and you only have 5 of the books currently, but remember, we started with 3, then 3 became 11, now we have 54. I hope that you stay vigilant and do not allow her to bring her agenda over here and quietly fill your children's library with these types of books. And let me close with this. It's up to us, the parents and taxpayers, to be aware of what is allowed in our public libraries and the access that these radicals are giving our children to this propaganda. We have to stand in the gap between the liberal left and our children. It only takes one liberal librarian with an agenda to steal the innocence of your child. I do have I write some op-eds, and so I do have some copies out on the table of the first op-ed that I wrote. Feel free to take that with you and read it. I've written 2 total, and there'll be more coming. If you want to read those and read the rest, just simply, if you have access to Facebook, you can go onto Facebook and like the Hood County Tea Party. Do I have time for questions? Okay. Okay, if anyone has a question, I'll take some questions. Oh, the librarian, Courtney Kincaid. Yes, sir.
How do you address the money aspect? Because that seems to be the root right there, where these people are, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars if you start putting these books on your shelf. That's something to...
The money aspect, well, most of these books are donated for free. I guess I'm missing something.
There's a non-profit organization that's pushing that in some form or fashion, and a lot of times money tends to fall in 501c. It's just, I know that I'm just looking at a kind of a broader picture of addressing that money so that those things don't flow.
How to stop the money for the books that...
Something to look at or to think about. Or
It definitely is. I guess it's something we haven't thought about or looked into, so that's something that we can take a closer look at. That's a good question. Yes, sir?
Did you get it stopped in Hood County?
We did not get it stopped. We did, this book in particular, This Day in June, it did get moved to the adult section, but we have 54 of these books in the children's section, and they're still there. The whole thing, what it became, it was always about parental rights and age appropriateness, but the media stepped in. They made it about book banning and censorship. And once you do that, and they never came to me to get my side of the story. They weren't interested. There was an agenda here. And so when people hear book banning and and censoring. I mean, nobody wants to do that. I don't want to do that. That wasn't our intent. So they're still there. Yes, sir.
What is the suggested solution? What can we do in regards to our own library?
Stay vigilant. It's real easy to check and see what's in your library as far as you can Google LGBT children's books lists. And when you're on there, you can write down the titles. Take those titles and go onto your online. This is your online. You can search, put those titles in there, and see if they're in there. And if especially as a group, numbers. If you get together as a number and you just apply the pressure, you have to push back. It's a hard thing to fight. Yes, sir?
Who made the decision? You say you lost. Who's deciding what?
The county commissioners and the county judge and county attorney made the decision. Yes, sir?
Melanie, tell us a little more about the fight. You took them on, you had a battle, in a way you lost, that had to be tough emotionally. And tell us a little bit more about how you worked through that and your perseverance in overcoming that.
I'm a Christian. It was very, very hard, but and I go into a little bit more detail in my paper I have out there, but the very first time we found this book, I didn't say anything. I was angry, so I knew I had to go home and pray about it. But I was convicted. There was no doubt in my mind what I had to do and what he was asking me to do. And I thought, somebody else will do it. Somebody else will see this. Well, I went, it was still there. And so I knew what I had to do, and I just very simply proceeded and just said, hey, have you seen this book? It's not appropriate. But then it turned ugly real quick with the media and the attacks, and it was a lot of relying on God, a lot of prayer. When I was weak, he was strong. Just totally submitting myself to him and just saying, you called me to do this, you'll equip me. But I'm a totally different person today than I was a year ago. Definitely stronger, and you can pick on me all day long, but don't mess with my children. Yes, sir?
I didn't understand when you said they put the books in the adult section, but there were still some in the children's section?
Yes, sir. This particular book, this day in June, they did move to the adult section.
All of them?
No, just this one. So we still have 53 in the children's section. And something interesting I want to point out is that a month prior to this, there were superhero books in the children's section. They're Justice League of America books. My boys like to read them. And we went to look for them, and we couldn't find them. We said, where are those books? They said, well, a parent complained that the superheroes weren't dressed appropriately. So we moved them to the young adult section. There was no media. There was no commissioner's court. There was no agenda with those books. But there's an agenda here. There's an agenda here. So you can see, it's real clear to see what's going on when that happened. Yes, ma'am?
Who was your opposition?
Oh boy, our opposition were our Republicans, conservative commissioners, county judge, the head librarian. The ACLU came all the way from New York. The ALA, Texas, LA. You name it. The list just. And originally it was only supposed to be citizens who spoke in commissioner's court. But when they all came into town, they all got to speak.
Is there a published list of these books someplace?
You can Google them.
No, not individually, but is there a posted list of these 54 books?
Oh, in our library, that's just research that.
That you might have someplace where we can see what the title is, so we can see if they're in our library.
Like
Yes.
on your Facebook account, do you have a website? Where you go to?
I do not have a website, but that's something that we could maybe put on the Hood County Tea Party website, and we could do that also with the Facebook page as well. That's a good suggestion. That's it. But in the meantime, if you're wanting to find titles for these children's LGBT books, if you have access to the internet, you can always I swear, if you Google LGBT children's books, you'll come up with so much stuff. That's how we did our research. It's frightening.
Well, I'm trying to do is avoid reinventing the wheel.
Right.
You've done the work, why do we need to go?
That's something that we can do. That's a great suggestion. Thank you. I can take one more question. The man in the back.
Yes, ma'am, you had, you listed your enemies in this fight. Who were your allies?
The Tea Party.
All right.
And Quick Rowdy? Tea Party? And some of our, and there was one local politician. Dave, do you think it's okay if I mention the local politician? Brian Birdwell, our senator. Mel Birdwell has become a very, very, very good friend. So yeah. And then some friends and a lot of my Christian friends. And sadly to say, we have over 60-some churches in Granbury and just a couple of the churches. Thank you for your time.